awesome guys, me Scoundrel here, and welcome back to another episode of Cursage Gaming. For this episode, I will be covering a Mortal Kombat creepypasta titled Mortal Kombat.exe. So strap in your ass cheeks and get ready for Mortal Kombat.exe. So the story starts out with the player telling us how big of a fan he or she was about the Mortal Kombat games. Specifically the Mortal Kombat Project games. If you don't know what the Mortal Kombat Project games are, they are basically fan-made Mugens. If you want to see them in their best form, go watch Mr. G-Star 321. The games he plays are fact beyond belief. The player then tells the readers that he or she is no longer a fan of them anymore, and even hates hearing about the game. One day, when the player was browsing the interwebs for some illegal emulators, he or she found a game called Mortal Kombat.exe. The player then tells the readers that he or she refuses to give the link to protect us. Aw, thanks man. The player thought the game would suck huge amounts of ass like RE3 Remake, but quickly took it back when he or she saw that the game took up 2 gigs. The game must have been good if it took up so much memory. I don't think so, considering most modern COD games take loads of space and they're still ass. The downloading process was fairly quick, according to the player. After the 4-hour-long download, a pop-up showed up saying the download was finished. The player clicked run, and his or her laptop... Wait, laptop? Zobrior? Upon clicking run, the craptop screen bursted in static and played an ear-piercing screech. The screech sounded eerily similar to the screech Walter White did in episode 11 of the 4th season of Breaking Bad titled Crawl Space. Eventually, the craptop got so bad that the screen just went to black for 30 seconds. Ethan grunted to his or herself in anger, grr, when he or she tried restarting his or her laptop. After 42 attempts, the craptop finally turned back on. The player thought that the laptop must have crashed from the large download. The player started up the game and started playing the game while the game started up as the startup of the game started up. Once the game started up, there was no music playing. So it must be another round Mortal Kombat game. The menu screen was an image of the Mortal Kombat character Goro, and on screen were arcade, versus, practice, options, and exit. Upon selecting arcade, the Mortal Kombat 1 arcade ladder theme by the almighty Dan Forden played at an insanely ear-crunching volume, which shook the whole house. The player immediately muted his or her laptop. After the player got ear-raped, he or she went to the character selection menu and was astounded to see that there are approximately 276 characters. According to the player, this was the best Mortal Kombat game ever made. The player selected his or her favorite character, Chameleon. Jeez, that's a first. Chameleon is literally in only 3 games, and he's the player's favorite character. Amazing. There were 6 versions of the character, so he or she selected the Mortal Kombat Trilogy version. How are there 6 variants if he's only an MK3, Armageddon, and Trilogy? Upon selecting Mortal Kombat Trilogy Chameleon, the Choose Stage screen appeared. The player selected his or her favorite stage, that stage in question being the Mortal Kombat 1 pit. Upon selecting the stage, the Mortal Kombat character Shao Kahn said, "Good choice, Ethan." I mean Lane. The player thought it was quite odd that the game knew his or her name and that audio came from the laptop despite it being muted. The loading screen popped up and revealed that he or she was fighting against Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1. After kicking Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1's ass, he or she got to the fatality input section. A box showed up with a list of names, one of them being the name of his or her best friend, Jordan. The player thought literally nothing of this and chose Jordan. After choosing Jordan, the Choose Fatality screen came up, revealing 10 fatalities and a stage fatality. Machinima director Ethan Gertha and Zobriar jizzed at the fact that all 276 characters had 11 fatalities. There were no babalities or animalities, so no, that actually sucks major Tarkatan titties. The player selected Stage Fatality, and Mortal Kombat Trilogy Chameleon uppercutted Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1, and Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1 fell into the spikes at the bottom of the Mortal Kombat 1 pit, which resulted in Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1 to get opened. Once Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1 got lethally penetrated, oh no. Once Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1 got lethally penetrated, very hyper-realistic blood shot out of him or her, and he or she screamed in agony. Human Hydra Mortal Kombat 1 scream nearly broke the player's speakers. The player once again got angry, that sound kept playing despite his or her laptop being muted. The words, "Chameleon wins, fatality," popped up without Shao Kahn saying it. Shao Kahn instead said at an ear-rapey volume, "Chanlin for me for more bailo." It said, "You will never win, Lane." After that, a bunch of pop-ups saying Mortal Kombat.exe is not responding showed up. Then his or her laptop crashed. Zobriar shat his or her pants at this startling event, and tried frantically to turn his or her crap top back on, but couldn't. The player angrily, put away his or her laptop and decided that he or she would fix it in the morning, because he or she is good with computers despite only owning a laptop. The player woke up at exactly 2:34 a.m. to the sound of his or her iPhone 4 ringing. The player looked at his or her iPhone 6 and saw that it was Jordan's mom. Why the player had Jordan's mom's phone number, I have no clue. The player answered his or her iPhone 12s XL and was weirded out by the fact that Jordan's mom was crying and sirens were in the background. The player asked what was wrong and what the sirens were all about. Jordan's mom said that Jordan got folded and had several large holes in his or her body. The player jolted downstairs and turned on his or her crop top. There was a message box saying, "Thanks for standing still, wanker."
Thank you for playing Lane, but I told you, you will never win.
The player was screaming and crying in horror and despair and dread and depression and post-nut clarity as several message boxes popped up saying, "Never," in all caps. Then the quote-unquote worst thing ever happened to the player. A bunch of dead babies and adults popped up on screen. Yes, the scary pictures were worse than the confirmation of the death of his friend. Then another message popped up saying,
"Look at him."
A picture of a dead Jordan with gouged out eyes, intestines spewed out, and several large gory holes. The screen then went black, and the text,
"Lane wins, fatality,"
showed up with the Mortal Kombat font. Then the screen cut to black for 30 seconds. And then it became Vanta Black, which is darker than black, in case you gals and guys didn't know. Fast forward to about 4 months, 12 weeks, 82 days, 72 minutes, and 62.9 seconds later, Jordan's killer was found and was arrested by the DEA. The fucking DEA, what the hell's wrong with me? It turns out the killer who killed the player's friend who was killed was the person who made Mortal Kombat.exe. Sometime later, the player was watching television, possibly the CW, when he or she saw Jordan's killer's court case. Jordan's killer's lawyer stood up and said,
"Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I."
Judge Pepadumia asked Jordan's killer if he or she had anything left to say. Jordan's killer that killed Jordan responded while looking at the camera with,
"Lane, you will never win."
and violently eed as he or she was being taken away to GCPD lockup. So that was the first Mortal Kombat creepypasta we have ever done. For the first ever Mortal Kombat creepypasta we've done, I'd say it was pretty darn good. The horrific detailing of the murder of Jordan really gave it a sense of brutality that really gave me quite the spookening. Also, what I liked was how realistic it felt. I could totally see some maniac nut making a game that uncovers who the player is and who the friends of the players are, and hunt them down. There are some issues that I have that prevent this creepypasta from being completely perfect. 3 issues to be exact. One issue is that the author didn't go in depth on how fact the AI is. The game the author plays is clearly a ripoff of Mortal Kombat Chaotic. Now, Mortal Kombat Chaotic uses an advanced version of the artificial intelligence IQ of Mortal Kombat 2. For those of you who don't know how Mortal Kombat 2's AI works, it basically counteracts every fucking input you make. If you punch, it ducks. If you jump towards them, it uppercuts. If you jump away, they throw shit at you. If you do anything, they go to your house and fuck your mom. It's complete bullshit. Or in the wise words of G-Star321, it's fact. The second issue is that the author didn't give us a link to the game. I really wanted to play this so I could uppercut Zobriar and Ultrade into the acid in the Deadpool stage so they'd both melt and die IRL. Really missed opportunity. The third and last and final and concluding and finishing gripe I have with this story is how unrealistic it is. It is virtually impossible for this game to exist. The reason being is that my dad actually works at NetherRealm Studios and knows Ed Boon personally, and he asked him if this game was real, and he said no. Even with those minor nitpicks, this was still a damn near perfect gaming creepypasta, and I highly suggest you give it a read. Links to the story down below. This has been another episode of Cursage Gaming, and if you like what you saw, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. This is me, Skeldevil, and